Hey there, everybody! Welcome to our afternoon edition of Big Brother 22 All-Stars live feed spoilers. And we know that on a Sunday in the Big Brother house, when everyone is lounging outside, they have nothing better to do than to get way ahead of themselves and think a lot beyond what they actually have right in front of them.
Yep, that's been happening a lot this season.
It's been happening a lot today, and that's going to be a big focus of this video because we want to talk through a lot of what Cody and Nicole said in a big conversation about their own plans, but then also how this relates to what other people should be doing in the game, because there are interesting moves that can be made. This is not necessarily a cakewalk for Cody to get to the end. It just comes down to whether or not they got the guts to actually go through with them.
Yep.
Do we believe that these people have guts? I don't know about this.
No, I think that Cody probably has this one. Nobody's really looking in his direction.
Come on, big move, Enzo. You can do the Enzo. Okay, Enzo has not really deserved the chant as of late.
I can't chant that. I just know, listen, yo, Enzo, I feel like he's got a chance to win, but I just don't think he's going to cut Cody.
Okay, well, we'll get into everything here. Before we do, if you guys enjoy this discussion, subscribe to the channel for more, give us a like, hit that notification bell, support us further as well. We have our links in the description for our store and then also our Patreon.
Okay, so a lot of what's happening right now is this big talk that happened with Cody and Nicole, sort of laying out a little bit about what's happening now, currently, with Christmas and Tyler being on the block, and a little bit into the future about what's going to be coming up for them and kind of where they want to go.
If you missed the video earlier today, the plan has flipped. Originally, Christmas was the target. Cody's won the veto. It is now Tyler who is more than likely going, and my just biggest right now takeaway from all of this, Tyler's not going to change Nicole's mind. I mean, Nicole's already thinking, up to next week, up to the week after, and if she's already planning all this out, I don't know how, in the known world, Tyler's going to change that, because Nicole, she's one of these people who is just used to getting what she wants in this game. She can be very stubborn, and she has that sort of like, oh shucks, woe is me sort of personality, but she does kind of stay firm with some of her particular plans. It's hard to get her to change her mind.
And she's really pushing this narrative that Tyler is this slimy snake, and she's also pushing another narrative that's kind of an interesting gameplay that I haven't seen a lot of, but she's trying to be like, oh, I'm going to leave him this really terrible goodbye message, and sort of almost like planting a seed that no one's going to give her a vote. A little bit of that. Is she really going to leave him a terrible message? Probably not. But I mean, if she does, then it's not just good gameplay to be like, oh, listen, nobody's going to give me their vote. Everybody's going to be so upset with me. But if she really goes through with that, that's a terrible move.
It's weird. Like, the Nicole, the first thing that's interesting to me is just the Nicole that we see in the conversations with Cody. It's like so different from the Nicole we get in confessionals on the episode. I know people have their diary room voices and their personas,
yeah,
but
they do.
Nicole is really, she's really like country bumpkin in a lot of her confessionals. And here, she's just very gung-ho, very cranky, very upset at Tyler, which, by the way, Big Meech drew you as a snake in the jury house in Big Brother 18, Nicole. Who are you calling other people snakes?
I think Nicole just really wants to make sure that Tyler goes. And because she knows that sort of everybody is doing what Cody wants, she really has to put in the work to make sure that he doesn't waffle, because he has been going a little bit back and forth, Christmas could be Tyler, could be Christmas. Now he's on Tyler right now. So this is the time for her to have this big talk like she did today and really stoke those fires to be like, this is it. And earlier, Enzo was doing the same thing, where he was just like, Cody, you really need to make this big move. You've got now people like Keisha, and that's not, really big on the resume. Tyler, though, that'll be big on the resume. So people are pushing for this.
And it's an ego play. Like, that's really, I think, a big thing of it. I think, in in Cody's mind, he is a legend. And I'm not saying this in a disparaging way about Cody. I think in a lot of Big Brother players' minds, they are legends. Jose thought he was going to host the Grammys. Like, that should tell you something about
Jose.
there's a whole...
And then he went on to, like, date Jeffree Star for a minute.
That was Jose's Grammys. It was Jeffree Star. But the thing is just that you want to play into people's egos a lot of the time. And Nicole, she is very good at doing sort of the opposite of making it seem like she is terrible or she doesn't know what she's doing. And that brings us into that strategy you just talked about with that goodbye message. Like, Cody should be well aware because he is the king of bluster. Nobody does this whole, oh man, if I was out of the house facing this guy, they wouldn't know what. It's like, Cody talks tough, larger than anyone I've ever seen in Big Brother.
Yeah.
He should know that Nicole's, oh, I'm gonna leave him this terrible message and I don't care if it hurts me in a jury vote. Like, she's lying. Maybe she will do it and I will be surprised, but this will be her goodbye message. Tyler, you were such a big threat. I know you could win competitions. I had to get rid of you because it was best for my game and I was scared of you. That is the Nicole goodbye message.
Yeah, I mean, even when I know Janelle didn't go to jury, but even that goodbye message with the, oh, you might as well just not come to the wedding anymore. I was like, I thought this was going to be like, and don't you come to my wedding. You are uninvited. The way she was talking about it, I was like, man, this message, oh, it's going to be fire. And it was just very much, again, sort of that sad, poor me. Oh, well, if you don't like, you don't like me, you don't have to come and, don't bother.
It felt like her hype about it, though, was almost like she was taking the invitation, taking a lighter and just burning it on camera. It's like, no, Nicole is bluster. This will probably not happen, but regardless of anything else, the whole goal for Nicole right now just seems to be, okay, you get rid of Tyler at this point, you get to that final 5. She seems to think BB Comics could be coming. Mm-hmm. Nicole is really good in BB Comics. Like, I think she won one of them. I think she came in second the other time that she did it.
Yeah, and she needs to win something. This is All Stars. She would be the first and only 2-time winner if she wins this, but she's not going to win it if she doesn't win anything. No vetoes, no comps, no HOHs, no nothing. This is new school. She's got to win something. So she's working kind of these two angles right now. If it's BB Comics, she has a really good chance of winning it. It'll be fresh in people's minds that she has this comp win, so that could really help her. It's not something like Enzo, his HOH. That was so long ago. It's like, what have you done lately kind of thing. Yeah. And Nicole's will be fresh in people's minds. And she is still playing this everyone should assume that they can beat me angle, where she's kind of like, oh, I'm not that good, whatever. Even if I win the next HOH, I'm still really bad at this game. It was luck, whatever it is. And these two things, I don't know how they end up balancing each other out, but they do. She has come into this house as a winner and has played down that she is so bad at this game. You can't do that when you're a winner, but Nicole can, and she can do it effectively. It has worked.
And the craziest thing is that these people all forget that Nicole's good at these comps at the end of the game, because so many of them are about memory and how well you know the season, and she's a good studier. Like, she's going to be dangerous down the road, and she's still covering her angles a little bit here. Mm-hmm. And I know that she wants to target Christmas moving forward because there's definitely a risk of some bad blood there. But here's the question I'm wondering: is it really the best move to target Christmas, who you could beat at Final 5, or Memphis, who I've had my fun. Okay, I can't talk in the Memphis voice about Memphis, but I've had my fun making fun of Memphis here and there and saying that he can't win. But Memphis has a better chance of winning than Christmas.
Yeah, I think Memphis, there are some people he can beat that are here. Christmas is one of them. Nicole's one of them. Right now, I think the only person that Nicole might be able to beat is Christmas. And it just sort of depends again. Do people want to have a 2-time winner at all? because there may be people on the jury that are just like, you know, she's just not the person who needs to be the representative of Big Brother, of the only 2-time winner. So we'll give it to Christmas. Like that could happen.
If Christmas wins Big Brother 22, I will eat the dog treat. Okay, I've said it. This is the thing.
I'll make a fresh batch.
I don't think this is going to happen, so I feel very confident in reigniting the dog treat. No, people. This does not mean nobody should root for Christmas. It's not worth it. It's not going to be that entertaining, I promise you, with just the dog treat. But still, I just think, ultimately, Christmas, she doesn't have that much of a chance. Nicole can beat her. Why would you potentially want to get rid of her next over someone like Memphis? And yes, Memphis has said, and Cody has reiterated this to Nicole, that he would put up Christmas. But somebody's got to go up on the block alongside Christmas, right?
Yeah, and it's going to be Nicole. Like, it just is going to be Nicole. So Christmas is not the right person for Nicole to go after, but things can change. I mean, who knows what's going to end up coming up? And I mean, if Nicole's HOH, besides Christmas, she's going to have to put someone else up. And one of the guys might decide that it's time to take that shot and get one of the other guys out, because they can beat Nicole and they can beat Christmas.
It's going to be really... I'm interested to see how some of this is going to play out if Christmas doesn't win the next HOH, which it is a terrifying proposition right now, where I've seen I've seen some people really starting to pull for a Christmas HOH reign here, and it's sort of like on a personal level, I cannot bring myself to this place, but I also understand the idea of potentially wanting like Cody and Nicole on the block and the entertainment value that could come with that. So
yeah, except that they will still save Cody. Cody, I just don't see anybody voting him out. I see him making it to that final 3, and if he doesn't sort of win that spot where he can be like, I choose whoever, hopefully whoever else is there is just gonna not bring Cody.
This is where we get, though, to our good old friend Big Move Enzo, because as of right now, I saw just before we came on, Tyler had kind of a campaign to Nicole where he was just like, hey, have you thought about the vote? And she was just like, I don't know, which, Tyler, you're not an idiot. You should know what that means.
Yeah.
But this is the thing with Tyler. He needs to go to Enzo. Enzo is really his only hope. I don't know what he can promise Enzo in order to ensure that he can try to get some momentum going for him. I mean, he's also going to have to try to convince Memphis as well, so this is not going to be easy, but
it's possible, because Memphis does have the wise guys, and Christmas is part of that, and Tyler's not part of that. So I mean, Enzo really is the key to something happening for Tyler. If he can convince Enzo can talk to Cody, and he does have influence with Cody. Then you bring in Memphis and deal with it. But it really is all going to land on Enzo. And what does Enzo want? I just don't know that it's in Enzo's best interest to keep Tyler around. I feel like it's not. And that it just, as much as I'd like to see Tyler stay in the game, it doesn't benefit anybody who's there for Tyler to stay in the game. It's time for him to unfortunately go.
The only argument I think Tyler could make here to try to find a way to get Memphis and Enzo on board is say, listen, Nicole and Cody, they are diehard final 2. They're going to take each other. Enzo, do you think you have a great chance of beating Nicole and Cody? Or do you have a chance to beat Memphis, who is just irritating to a lot of people, who targeted David 3 times, like that is his big move as HOH, and Tyler himself, who tried to quit the game?
Or Tyler can kind of maybe go in another direction as well and be like, listen, you know, Cody can't play next week, but I can, and you don't need to sit at the end with a Cody or a Memphis, and, you know, we all can beat Nicole or Christmas. They're not really the problem here. But since Cody can't play next week, this might be the chance for all you and me to get rid of one of these 2 guys so that we don't have to sit at the end with them, and we can bring the girls along with us.
Let's try to wrap up this conversation with the discussion about alliances that don't matter as much anymore being outed, including Cody told Nicole today about the Cody, Tyler, and Enzo final three, which is called Triple Threat, which I believe we have mentioned all of, like, I don't know, 2 times in the last several months.
Yeah, I think we've mentioned them even less than the Tickle Monsters.
This is just nothing. And then,
No.
Cody even brought it up that Tyler never really talked about it other than, like, when Enzo was in power or, or things in that situation. So it was never altogether serious.
No, it really wasn't.
It was just kind of nothing. It's nothing, kind of like Nicole being annoyed right now that Christmas hasn't, like, campaigned to her enough. It's ridiculous, but also kind of nothing and just silly.
Yeah, I mean, I understand where Nicole's coming from on that, where she's just like, you're a little too comfortable. You really shouldn't be. It's only Sunday. There's still time for this to change around. Like, I know Nicole's really focused on Tyler right now, but that could easily change. This is the week of waffling so far.
We need to call this Waffle Week. We need, like,
Waffle Week.
Welcome to
yes.
Waffle. Well, I hope there's some waffling going on, because otherwise it's going to be kind of boring. But
well, your birthday's coming up, so we will have waffles then.
Waffles. Okay, so the other last thing here is that Nicole now knows that Tyler told Enzo about the committee, which we know that Cody already told Enzo about.
Yeah, and there doesn't seem to be any sort of real fallout from that.
No.
I think it just doesn't matter at this point. We're so down to the last few people, like it just doesn't matter.
We'll see what happens the rest of today, though, but we'll be back, of course, with more Big Brother 22 All-Stars. And just as a reminder, don't root for Christmas because you want me to eat the dog treat. It's not worth it. I promise you it will not be that fun.
And also remember, it's not on tonight. It has moved to Mondays.
Yes, so let us know in the comments what you want to see happen in the Big Brother 22 house today. What can Tyler do? And if you enjoyed this discussion, subscribe, give us a like, support us further, check those links to the store, our Patreon, and we'll see you here next time.